Welcome. Part 2 of Appreciate the Black Woman here on YouTube. Brothers and sisters, gods and goddesses, I'm SHU, AMUN, and this is part 2. If you want to see part 1, you got to go on Facebook, and I want you to enjoy yourself, but more than enjoy, I want you to get a learning education. This is part 2 of Appreciate the Black Woman for who she is. The sun rises. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning. Peace unto you. This is part 2. Appreciate the woman. What we're going to do today is show you videos. There's some Black History flashcards that I have, and I told y'all last week that you need to stop buying these different products. So when we have these classes and these different sessions, that you'll be able to keep up. Stop being lazy. Stop being lazy and participate on what I'm doing so you can have a better understanding. Number 1. 2, you can educate yourself and then educate your children, your family member, your friends. This is what it's all about. You think I learned this stuff in church? That's not the great church. Because my opinion, church should be the foundation. It should be. My belief that church should be the foundation. Why? Because it already has its roots in the ground. The problem is that church is spewing out European religion, spewing out Greek theology. When you listen to church pastors, they don't tell you about Africa. They're not telling you nothing for whatever. And you know it and I know it. What are they talking about? Adam and Eve, Noah, Jesus, Abraham. Every week, the same thing. Sunday school, same thing. But are they teaching you about you? Are they teaching you about the goddess? Are they teaching you about the true power of the woman? No, they're not. They'll give you phrases. Even in the biblical story, your Bible, NIV, New World Translation, King James, so on and so forth. In the beginning, the Bible don't really tell you nothing about Eve. Only thing the Bible describes is what? That she had listened to a snake. These are the image telepathically that she started listening to a snake. Am I correct? And from that point on, she was supposed to have coerced Adam, the mythical story, for him to eat this fruit. This is the story. They want you to believe that this woman supposed to have started off the persuasion of her husband and then showed the weakness of the man because he follows suit. This is what religion wants you to believe, that the woman is bad. This is absolutely false. False doctrine, lies. Huh? I got evidence of great women here. I got evidence. This is why I told you, instead of wasting your money, buy things you really need. I got evidence of great women who had kingdoms, empires, they ruled. So if the women's supposed to be negative, evil, angry, this is a bunch of bull crap. That's the European concept that they want to play with your mind and want the woman to be docile. That is what it is. And the woman is a lot more than that. She is not a woman to be in the kitchen. That's only of her choice. She's not supposed to be laying up in the bed, getting fucked every day. That's her choice. Huh? Don't let no man tell you that. She is a wisdom. The woman is wisdom, feminine and masculinity. Because she can talk to her man, she can step to his level. Huh? She can step to his level and speak to him in his ear and give him information about whatever issues and problems that's going on in the kingdom. This is part 2. I'm sure I'm around. Frances Cress Wellington. Have y'all ever heard of this goddess? She's passed on, moved on. Her work is outstanding. Have y'all read the book called The ISIS Papers? Huh? Now, I'm going to get this book right now because I don't want you thinking I'm just making it up. The ISIS Papers. This is her. That's her. Huh? This book, The ISIS Papers. Let's read a little bit. During the course of the struggle of the African people against the European racism, brutality, and dimension, and many involved in thinking have risen from our ranks. The greatest and the most courageous scholar have devoted their lives to the pursuit, devoted their life. Listen to the words I'm using, devoting their lives. This is a woman, one of the greats. Devoted their lives to pursue of an explanation for the virtually inherent and most white people appear to have towards people of color. Unlike her predecessor, Dr. Frances Cress Wellington, a brilliant Washington, D.C. physiologist, and has rejected conversational nation about the origin and perpetration of racism. Dr. Wellington's theory, lectures, and scientific papers have provoked controversy for over 20 years. Know me now, the completion of her work in the ISIS Papers is distant, no change, the course of history. The ISIS Papers. Let's read on more about the great goddess that some of you seem not to want to learn from. American-born Afrocentrist, physiologist, and author believed that people of the color needed to liberate themselves psychologically from the white dimension. In 1974, the author of the crest theory of the color confrontation and racism, white supremacy, that states people of color must again gain a better understanding of the behavioral manual. Understand this. Multiple into a subordinate position. In 1991, wrote The ISIS Papers, The Keys to the Colors, a collection of 25-ish essays examine the neurons of the white supremacy. Wrote about melanin theory, a claim that white people are the genetically defective descendant of the albino mutation. Felt whites strive to maintain a superior social position in the multiple non-white and themselves into thinking that they are the worldwide numerical majority instead of the minority. What? You can look for yourself. They show you different geographics around the world. And all you see is melanin people. All you see is all these melanin people. So how in the world how can you be a minority? Talk to me. I mean, you watch the History channels. You watch geographics. Don't play games with me. And then you're looking at other melanin people around the world. What you think they are? They from the darker race. Come on. They're not white. They want to put these things in your head. This is what they want to do. Excuse me. Huh? Women, you're a goddess on this planet. You got to understand your power, your dreams that you dream of. Fulfill it. You ain't nobody's bedmate. Fulfill your dreams. Strive for your destiny. You are more than what these people want you to be. You are goddesses on this earth. Don't let them fool you. Y'all remember Jackie, Joan, and Kersey, don't you? Another great one. Another great one. Huh? Track star, field athlete, and ranked among the all-time greatest athlete for her talent in the long jump and a triathlon. Overcame several asthma. She had bad asthma. And went on to win 6 Olympic medals. Pay attention. Pay attention. You got to understand the greatness of our black women. Striving in this world in the white supremacist system, still striving, still being powerful. Oprah Winfrey, I know a lot of you have a lot of, a little negative notions about Oprah. But at the end of the day, Oprah is still a goddess. She might be into whatever she's into. But the reason why I chose her, because she rose out of her adversities. And sometimes people keep forgetting about how people rose from their adversities. Let's read. Media network owner, talk show host, actress, producer, listed by Forbes and the richest African woman and one of only 10 black billionaires in the world as of 2018. Best known for the host and the highest rated talk show in history from 1986 to 2011. Nominated for Academy Award for the Best Supporting Actress for a role in Color Purple, one of many movies she has starred in or produced. Supported charitable projects and nonprofit organizations around the world through her organization's Oprah Angel Network. Gave over $400 million to educational purpose and opened up schools for girls in South Africa. Open up schools in South Africa. I believe she should have did it here, quite frankly. My opinion on that. My opinion. But I understand why she did that. She went to the motherland and to give females empowerment, because how the black male system has followed the European concept in Africa, in South Africa, and open up these schools for these intelligent African females. Yes, intelligent. So brothers and sisters, I want to get you to a video. Get you to the video so you get a better outlook on beautiful, educated black women. And when I want to talk about these holidays, y'all. I'm not gonna let you get off on that. I want to talk about these holidays because there's too many of you still into that holidays crap. You just is. You're getting ready to celebrate Christmas. Y'all's getting ready to celebrate your little Christmases and whatnot. Giving your money away to them honkies. I know you are. You think that's what you're supposed to be doing. I know. Are you ready? I'm about to get ready. Sister Shahrazad Ali. It's one of my greats. I'm telling you. It's one of my greats. I want y'all to hear her. Wake up.
The ladies everywhere in the world is gotta be my, gotta be my place.
Wake up! Wake up!
My song to you. Can't buy you out, 'cause you're not for sale. Oh, woman, you're right. When all others fail, can't buy you out. A woman with child, boy. Until a little baby's past the worst, you'll never see her real smile. Major walk with you every step, give you the strength, give you the faith,
the power of the black woman.
Will to carry your
never estimate her.
Beauty's in every move you make.
The struggle.
There's a confidence there in you that
the victory.
The world bow down. Show off your dignity, show them your pride. Be never afraid, declare you answer nothing to hide. Upright and always bold, and never standing for the truth. By now it's been told, I can't buy you out. You're not for sale, woman, you rise when all others fail.
You know, because I'm not teaching hatred, but I'm teaching the re-education of you got to love yourself first. How we going to love all them? We can't even get along with each other. We look alike. So we can't, and it don't mean we have to hate them, but you need to know who represents your open enemy. I'm not going to lie to you about that. They don't like you. And they wish you would solve your problems and leave them alone. You ain't never heard of one white man that ever grew up in the world and got rich and went and married some Negro. Name one. none. Out of the whole 270 million, there's not one. We only represent 12% of the population here. And 45% of all of the people that's black in America that's married, 45% is married to somebody in another race. Trying to get away from self. Don't want to be around nothing that remind me of me. You know? So we need to get an education on that, just what we really think about each other and what we really think about being black. You can't get out of it. You can go somewhere and pretend you white, or you can be around so many white people you start to talk like them and dress like them, but you still ain't white. You know? And then they give you that where you can have the children, and the children are biracial. The World Health Organization only recognizes 2 kinds of life, human life on Earth. White and non-white. It's only 2 kinds. Just like there are only 2 sexes. Male and female. You need a re-education on that. You know. And I don't have to be afraid to say that. That's just the truth. We have problems in our communities. We have women who have failed at being women who now want to be men. We have men who have failed at being men who now want to be women. Those are problems we have. We need a new education, a re-education on gender identification. And I know that's difficult because the white people are trying to make a gender-free society. You know, when we were having illegitimate children, or children out of wedlock or whatever, they call them illegitimate, little bastard children or whatever. And then when the white woman started doing it now, it's called single parenting. You know? So we need a new education on their language. See, they changed the language to suit their social idea at the moment. And every time they change their social behavior, we change ours to do what they're doing. So when the white women went to the white men and said, listen, we get ready to get liberated from y'all, so we tired of this. We're not going to be in the house no more. We're not going to be cooking. We get ready to go get a job in corporate America. We want to work outside the home, too. Well, we as black women, we jump right in there. Except we didn't have nothing to get liberated from the black man from. He wasn't no big man over us. We were all both struggling, trying to get the equal opportunity. I'm talking about late 50s now when it started, trying to get jobs, trying to get housing. We didn't have he didn't have any big stuff over us. The white woman came and introduced us to the feminist movement and made everything we were working with a man against a woman and a woman against man. So they made us take sides. And so we left our men. Many of us set an example and went with the white woman's liberation movement, and we still carrying that idea today. And they taught us that we should be fighting for independence. That's true. Not for independence from the black man, though. Independence from them. And we're paying for that. Our children are paying for that. They're little savages now running around in the streets, and we want the white people to come in with some solution and straighten that out. They're not going to do it because they don't care nothing about our children. No more than they care about you and me. So the next time you get up somewhere and talk about your love for everybody, think about some of this and how you need to be re-educated to stop talking like a slave. The slave master said on the plantation, before they decided to give us their holy Bible, the slave master said, they were debating it. Slave master said, now give them the Bible, because this book will serve me when I'm present and when I'm not present. Because once you learn, to forgive all of your enemies and love all of your neighbors as yourself, And then don't persecute those who spitefully use you. And after you accept all of that doctrine, then you will remain a slave. You don't need no slave master. You don't need nobody over you. Every day you're going to conduct your life like a slave. You're going to respond like one. You're going to talk like one. You're going to dress like one. Spend your money like one. And love like one. That's just, you know, how that is. So, I'm going to close with just giving you the general slave profile so that you have some idea what we're talking about. You know, you need to be able to look in the mirror and know what you're doing, but you also need to be able to look around you at the other slaves and recognize, you know, where they are too. A lot of what I talk about sometimes people say is not relevant anymore because things have changed. But you must remember that change doesn't necessarily mean better. Change just means different. And things are different. We're in the worse condition now than we have ever been in 439 years. You know. So let me just give you a few of these, and I'm going to just move through this quickly because we want to get to Dr. Jeffries and Dr. Martin, who have a very important message to bring up. Refers to other black people as you guys instead of sister and brother. You know, we used to just call each other sister and brother, but as the white people have taught us more and more this personal independence, we don't want to say no words to each other that might suggest that we are connected or that we have any kind of family relationship. And so everywhere I go, all over the country, everywhere I am when I'm around black women and black men, what you fellas gonna do? Where are the guys? And I wonder, what are you talking about? You know, and before they call me Sister Sherazade or Sister Ali, they'll say, lady. You know, they don't want no connection. That's what a slave do. Slaves want to be depersonalized. Slaves don't think about nobody but self. Slaves selfish, trying to survive and think it can't act like it got no relatives. You know, that's what a slave does. The slave also wears brand name clothes so that the designer's name is clearly visible. Now that's a bad problem y'all know we have. You can't look at a black man on TV. He got Nike on his head. He got Reebok on his chest. He got something else on his feet. You know, I'm so tired of y'all being slavery time, woken advertisement. If you're going to put somebody's name on, put your own name on. You know, stop wearing everybody else's name. Stop acting like a slave on a plantation. White people brag about how cheap they got something. They got y'all tricked up. Y'all brag about how much you paid for it. How much money you gave them. As the sister explained, the markup on clothing and garments is 40, 50, sometimes 75,000 per set. We can't afford it. We ain't making no clothes. You know? So, you know, that's something else we need to do. And, of course, refusing to call blacks by their African or Egyptian name. We say we can't say it, you know, so we try to not call people by that. We want to keep the name that we have inherited from the slave masters. Now, that's really a slave. If you just think about, as I have said before, you never find a Jew that'll name their child Adolf Hitler. So why are you still naming yours Bridget and Amy and Shirley? You know, that doesn't make any sense. Don't you see that the first stigma of slavery is that they took our name and our God? We can't say it didn't matter. If it didn't matter, they wouldn't have did it. Everything they did mattered. So when you want to hold on to the name of Johnson because your father's name was Johnson and his father was, and then some slave master behind him somewhere was named Johnson, think about that. It's no insult to your parents. They had a slave name too. So did mine. That's not disrespecting them because they were slaves too. You need your own name. And if you don't want your own name, you acting like a slave. If you're satisfied with your American, European, Gentile name, then you're acting like a slave. That's another thing that we need a re-education on. Buy cards and gifts to celebrate every European holiday. Stop doing that. You know? Every holiday the white people got, black people running in the store, Valentine's Day, Easter, Halloween. Y'all coming out with a sack. You know, none of them holidays, got anything on it even remotely about us. Martin Luther King, that ain't really no holiday. The white people didn't even like him till he died. They don't like nobody till they dead. Ain't no problem no more. You know? So stop giving them money for every holiday. Express your love to your loved one on some date that you pick out. You don't have to worry about being romantic. You're not the Romans. You can't be romantic. You know? A whole lot of what we try to be is not even in us. We're trying to mimic them. So don't be, that kind of a slave. Okay, promote their children to participate in integrated activities. Stop teaching your children to get along with white people before they get along with black people. Now this is the real slave, and I see this from LA to New York. Wears dreads, braids, or African clothes, and has a white maid on their arm. Okay, that's still going on. That's still going on. In fact, most of the people is getting so in the big cities that you see dressed like that. They got a white person somewhere. And then when I show up, they try to act like I embarrass them. Like my ideas are so ancient. Like in the TV studios backstage, you all don't have any idea what's going on. It's a riot. They all try to act like they're ashamed of me. I treat the white people so bad. I make everybody do their job, do this. I just be on them. And then the black people, they be acting scared. They be acting like I'm embarrassing them. And another mark of a slave is a person that loves to move into a neighborhood with all white. Trying to get away from the rest of us. Okay? And certainly a mark of a slave is a person that insists on eating pork no matter what they have learned about it. Buys black children white dolls and books featuring white characters. All those symbols mean something. Don't let your children know what white people look like before they know what black people look like. Let them learn about self. If you teach them about the slave master first, then you acted like a slave. Becomes happy and animated when talking to white people. We see that all the time. Some of us can't hardly talk at all, but you let somebody white start asking us a question. You see all the teeth, give up all the directions. I see it all the time. I hate that. I was on an elevator in Chicago, and I was just standing there with the bellhop, and I was standing there while two white men got on the elevator, and I was just, how you do to keep from looking at everybody. I was looking at the numbers go across. I was up on like the 18th, 19th floor. Anyway, the devil over here to my left said, are you here for a conference? And I said, no. And I was so mad at myself. I answered automatically. And I said, none of your business what I'm here for. And then I turned my head back around. Because I got mad. I was angry. And I recognized that when that white man opened his mouth, what is it? I was so, so it can happen to anybody. That's my point. And I know I'm conscious on it. So I just turned my head and said, none of your business what I'm here for. I ain't the information bureau. I don't have to answer, I ain't got to answer no questions. You don't have to do anything. And that's just, as I said, that's not to be hostile. Just ask me, well, how do I get along with them on my job if I don't laugh at their jokes? I said, well, if it's not in your job description, I say, then you just need to go with Allah. Just do your job, and if they mess up, sue them. But they make that a requirement, that we have to laugh at their jokes. And all adult black women know, the frustration of having to be around some white men that's saying something, that's offhand. I won't even, I have to deal with it. I won't even ride in the white limousine car because I'm not riding no 2 or 3 hours with no white man in no closed-up car. So I have to have a black driver. And they came and asked me the other day, I felt really bad. The people came out and they needed to make pictures. They were taking pictures for a promotion we're doing. And the white woman called me and asked me, was it all right if she sent a white photographer? And I thought, boy, they really think I'm racist. You know? So, of course, I told her, no, I need a black photographer because I don't think he does. Because every time I travel and say I don't want to be bothered with no white people, then they have to go hire and round up a bunch of black people to come and deal with me. And I have reached a point where I can have things pretty much like I want to have them. And so that means I can ask for what I want. And if they say no, I can say, well, okay, I ain't coming. You know, so, I've been blessed in that way. Now, the other way that we act like a slave, I got 5 more minutes, let me tell you this. The other way that we act like a slave is that we make our little children, one of the first things we do is they're growing up, when they get to be 2 or 3 years old, we bring company in, we say, get up and dance. Show them you can dance. Watch them dance. That's from slavery. They used to make us dance. Make all the people dance. And so we still do that. When we have a baby, the first thing it can do, we call somebody in and we'll fight that child if it won't dance for the company. We'll beat that child. You better dance. That's from slavery. Being greedy. We got a reputation across the country. If we go somewhere to a buffet or eat all you can or eat all you want, we clean them out. We take food home in our pocketbook. That's from slavery. It's a slave reaction of being deprived of food and having to sneak and hide and hoard food. So don't go out. If you're going to go to the white people restaurant, then don't go in there acting like an abject slave. Don't do that to yourself. Not that we got no image to protect in front of them, because they already know our condition, so I don't have nothing to hide from them. I'll be wide open with them. Because they already know what condition I'm in. Yeah, and I'm mad about it. And that's the same, that goes with the being overly attracted to fine clothes, stealing paper clips and stuff on the job, stuff you ain't never gonna need at home. Come home with a box of staples. They don't do that. That's a slave behavior. Work at the hospital, bring home a crate of cotton balls. Don't do that. Anything. During slavery, we had to steal. We had to use pilferage. We had to get anything we could. And so today, we still do that. We can't help it. If it's there, we'll get it. Don't do that. Don't act like a slave. Don't do it. And it takes some control because it's like an automatic reaction because it's so deep in us, but, try not to do that, White people gave the Indians alcohol. They gave the black people drugs. So we have to be careful. We know that we have substances that they will give us to try to destroy us. And we can talk about the violence on the TV and all of that, but there are no white people come in our house and cut the TV on. We cut the TV on in our house. And we can cut it off. So every time we decide, to do a lot of these kind of basic things that we got from slavery, just don't act like a slave. I'll leave you with that thought. Stop acting like a slave. Find out what the behavior of a slave is and stop doing that. It is one of the reasons we cannot make progress. Because they put some things in motion that even without a slave master, we still acting like a slave. All right? Assalamu alaikum.
Ooh. Deep, 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 deep. Can you handle it? Can you handle it? That's deep. That's deep, brothers and sisters. To let you know that is deep. To let you know from the goddess that gave us some strong information, and we need females in that type of caliber to continue teaching, waking up the masses of our sisters. We need this. We need great sisters that can teach our people to wake up and find out evidence, real evidence. Now, brothers and sisters, I'm bringing another sister out, another great sister. And you got to listen to this sister. She's moved on into the next life form. But I want you all to listen to this sister, because it's very important that we do. Dealing with the future of our people. Dr. Francis Cress Wellington.
Keep the building open till midnight. But I am happy to join you this evening at the 8th Melanin Conference. And I thought that I would begin by dedicating my remarks to some of my ancestors. To my grandfather, Dr. Henry Clay Cress, who died in 1909, and to my father, Dr. Henry N. Cress, who died in 1983, and to my mother, who is still with us. My mother was a teacher, and as I look back and think about as I look back and think about my mother as a teacher and a person who taught us, the girls in my family, there are 3 of us, to, say what you think and to have the courage to say the things that are on your mind. To my grandfather, because he was a physician in Chicago and he was very political. And he died long before I was born, but my grandmother used to say your grandfather was a race man. That his primary concern was not just what was going on in his office, but the welfare and the well-being of black people and the black race. And not long ago, I guess it's been 15 years ago, my father happened to pull out of a trunk in the basement some things that his father had written. He didn't have that much familiarity with his father because his father died when he was about 5 years of age. But these writings remained, and I don't know that my father had looked at them earlier in his life, but my grandfather, who passed in 1909, had written about how dare people think that they are superior because of the white color of their skin. I didn't know that when I started writing. So my grandfather had written about that, And my father, I looked like my father, and for the time I could hear my father, people would say, oh, she's going to be a doctor just like her father. But my father was also political, maybe not as political as his father. But when I sat down in 1968-69 at the dining room table in our home and was sharing with my father my ideas that came to be known as the Crest theory of color confrontation and racism, talking about melanin in the late 1960s. And my father said to me, now you must find out what is in the melanin. And I say that that statement on the part of my father opened the door for black people focusing on the topic of melanin, because it encouraged me, after I had written the Crest theory, after I had said that the thing that was motivating people who classify themselves as white was the fact that they did not have melanin, and that they were envious and feeling vulnerable to the people who did have melanin. And went further from writing the Crest theory. And I feel that this inspiration and motivation came from my father to my paper in 1972, Melanin, the Neurochemical Basis for Soul. And my paper in 1975 that was published in the Urban Health Journal, Melanin and the Active Skin Melanocyte, in laying out the concept that melanin, the melanocyte, was a sense receptor. And whereas I was fought and ridiculed, I was at that time a professor at Howard University College of Medicine, and whereas I was ridiculed, these ideas don't make any sense when a professor at Harvard University read the paper about the active skin melanocyte, blacks, the exact title was Blacks Hypertension and the Active Skin Melanocyte. I got this long, several-page, single-spaced letter saying, you have opened the door for all kinds of research. I never responded back because I was not going to give my ideas to that source. And I'm sorry that I missed hearing today, or maybe it was yesterday, somebody I think gave a paper on George Washington Carver and melanin. Okay, that was today, because I wanted to hear that, because 3 years ago at the National Medical Association, I gave a paper on the Crest theory on the George Washington Carver phenomenon. So I don't know what was said in that paper, but I maintain that George Washington Carver's ability to communicate with plants, when he said the plants speak to him, that he was really, because the pigment, the black pigment in the melanocyte, has the greatest potential to pick up all energy, that actually the energy frequencies from the plant and Dr. George Washington Carver's very black skin, that he was tuning in and picking up this energy frequency information and translating it in terms of what plants could do, what they were capable of doing. So maybe I get the tapes and hear someone else's ideas on that topic. But I thought that in the short time that I'm speaking to you this evening, that I would address myself to what I consider to be very, very critical questions. That we can talk about melanin, but at this point in time, in terms of what we see happening in front of us via television and via the media, that the question that we must ask ourselves is that, can we as individual black people protect our melanin? Can we collectively protect melanin on this planet. Because I think that a very significant dialogue is going on with us. And if we're not looking broadly, we will miss the communication from the white side of the chessboard. I say that the most important analogy that we can use to center ourselves in reality of today's world is to understand that we are at a gigantic global chessboard. The white side of the chessboard is playing white supremacy for white genetic survival. And it is waging war on the black side of the chessboard where all people of color are placed. The black people being the most significant people representing the black side of the chessboard because we have the greatest quantity of melanin that can challenge white genetic survival in the perception of the people, the tiny minority of people on this planet who classify themselves as white. But that white side of the chessboard has been dialoguing with us for the past several thousand years, but let's just bring it up to present time and the last several months. I maintain that that white side of the chessboard is saying to us, I can kill 2 million of you at a time if I want. And I hope everybody looked at the pictures of the people in Rwanda and saw the high concentration of melanin in the people in Rwanda. That melanin is not protected. They tell us 1 million people were killed. I say they probably killed 2 million. And in my mind, 2 million were killed until proven otherwise. They have already announced to us that their virus that they manufactured, HIV, is going to kill 50 million people with melanin on the African continent. Several years back, getting us accustomed to the slaughter and destruction of melanin on this planet, they served us up Jonestown and said, I can kill 1,000 of you at a blow and make you not even look at it or think about it. Or I can kill you 20 at a time when I kill the people, the children in Atlanta. Or I can kill you by the hundreds in the urban centers of this area of the world. I am moving all over this planet, destroying melanated people and maximally melanated people anytime I get ready to think about it. And we have a gentleman in the White House who's saying my ratings are falling. But I can always get high ratings in the system of white supremacy if I just move out and kill some melanated people. Kill them in Panama, kill them in Grenada, kill them in Haiti, let them drown in boats anytime we get ready to do so. So do you understand my question? We can talk about melanin, but the critical question is, can we protect melanin? And they're saying up in our faces, you can't do anything about what I decide to do to you. Now, if we don't look at that challenge, if we direct our attention to other things, a massive movement is going on. Melanin is being destroyed. But the system of white supremacy says, I will be able, by offering grants, I will be able by offering jobs, to tell you that you are the cause of the death of black people. I'll be doing it, but I'll make you focus on yourself and try to figure out how you can destroy one another. I'll do it to you in Rwanda. I'll set up the Hutu and I'll set up the Tutsis. I will give each group all the weapons they need. And I say, now I have taught you to hate your melanated selves. Now you fight each other. I'll do it to you on the streets in Los Angeles. I'll set up one group, the Crips, and another group, the Bloods. I'll set up all kind of Muslim groups and say, fight each other. I know I can get you to do it because I have programmed you for thousands of years to hate black. But if we don't see that this war is on the table, we will go off focusing on something else altogether, and the slaughter will continue. So I say, and I know you've heard me say this before, that when I say that the system of racism, white supremacy, is the critical thing that we must focus on because that is what is waging war against us. The white people came up with a plan some years back, Global 2000, in which they said it's too many people of color on this planet. By the year 2000, it's necessary to get rid of 2 billion. They are about business. They are about serious business, removing as they deem necessary the people of melanin on this planet. If we do not understand and make an analysis that this is fundamental, it is this dynamic that is taking us out. Everything that we look at, everything else, I believe, and I could be wrong, but as it comes to me, it will be in vain. Everything that we are studying is important. Everything that we look at has high level significance. But if we are not understanding this massive war and what is at stake, I believe we will not be able to apply our energy force in a laser-type manner so that we really begin to neutralize the war that is coming at us. To me, it is critically essential for us to develop or to articulate a new world order of dialogue. At each and every turn, we have to be saying to the white side of the chessboard, to the people globally who classify themselves as white. There's no other reason for people to classify themselves as white on this planet other than for the purpose of practicing white supremacy. And so if we begin to escalate, I'm going to ask the people if they let the little babies be quiet because they're running up and down is getting at me at this late hour. We have to be able to dialogue back to them and say we understand this war that is being waged against us, because if we don't label it for what it is, then they'll just keep that train rolling against us, and we just look up and more black people are dead everywhere. But we're not telling them, look, we understand what you're doing, and we understand precisely why you are doing it. They are working very hard to get us away from talking about racism, white supremacy. They are working very hard. Let's change the dialogue. Let's force them into a change of dialogue. We can do it by giving them grants to talk about multiculturalism, by giving them grants to talk about diversity, to tell them, oh, we don't talk about racism any longer. All this talk about victimizations, that's ridiculous. And so trying to slide us away from proper focus. But we have to hold the line and stay on course. Say, you can talk about diversity if you want. Why don't you sit over there and write the definition of what you mean by diversity? You can focus on multiculturalism if you want. This is our dialogue to the white side of the chessboard. Sit over and define what it is that you're talking about. I've asked them, what do you mean by diversity? They can't answer it. What do you mean by multiculturalism? They can't answer it. These are play words and play concepts that they try to get us to focus on so we will not be keeping our eye on the proverbial ball. We have to say, no, we're going to hold the line. You can talk about whatever it is that you want. But all of our ancestors and all of the scholars and all of the people who have gotten old trying to show us how to focus. Everything our grandparents ever said to us is these people are doing something that is unjust and incorrect. And mind you, I'm not saying hate white people. I'm not saying disrespect white people. If you sit down to play a game of chess, you can't beat your opponent if you're getting wound up in hate. If you go on the basketball court or the football field and intend to beat your opponent, you cannot do it if I hate them. No. Know that they're coming on the field to play their very best hand. And if you're confident in yourself, you can say, hey, play your best game. I'm ready for you. Because I'm going to be playing my best game. What is at stake is whether we are going to have justice on this planet. White supremacy is antithetical to justice. You cannot have white supremacy and have justice at the same time. I believe that the system of white supremacy puts the people that they say who are supposed to know about justice in black robes, because you have to have melanin to understand what balance in this universe really is. So we are the people who are peculiarly suited to bring justice to this planet. I believe that is our mission. Somebody told me that Mahatma Gandhi, somebody said, ask him, what is the purpose or the role of the Negro? And he is supposed to have answered by saying, the Negro will bring justice to planet Earth. And I believe that that is correct because we are the mothers and fathers of everybody on this planet. It's not even open to argument. If you know fundamental biology, you know that white can only produce white. But crystal black can produce a mutation to albinism, and that will be a white person. Someone just brought me a picture from some of the orphans, all of the hundreds of thousands of black children who have been orphaned by this white supremacy orchestrated war in Rwanda. But the picture was significant because it was all of these little children who no longer have mothers and fathers, sleeping on little pallets on the floor, one next to another. But right there in the center of that picture was a little albino Rwandan child. You see, so that black producing white is not a mystery in biology. Black people are the only people, by producing a mutation to albinism, crossing the albino with the black, that you get the entire color spectrum that we call mankind or humankind. If they can get us to deviate from that understanding, that's an understanding that they produce. But But they are busy now, for example, many of the zoos who have
Brothers and sisters, I'm hoping that you got a wonderful, wonderful lesson today, part 1 and 2 of part 2 of Appreciate Our Black Sisters. Our black woman needs to be appreciated. I showed you the clips of Shahrazad Ali. I showed you the clips of Dr. Francis Cress Wellington. For more information, you can go online and you can Google them, YouTube, get their books. It's all out there. Our black women needs to be appreciated. There's so many great black women. And before I get off, I will state this. These holidays is coming up. What are you doing? What are you doing to contribute to the black man and the black woman? What are you doing to make the black woman, to put her back on the throne? Respect her, honor her, worship her, put her back on the throne. Put her back on the throne. You know where that's where she belongs. She belongs on her throne. Her wisdom, her knowledge. You just heard from the Dr. Chris Wellington. You just heard from Shahrazad Ali. Different information. One is talking about being a slave in the mind. The other one is talking about preserving and protecting the melanin race. Higher learning perspective. And two different issues that are very important. The black woman is the mother of the planet. Get your mind out the gutter. Religion is not good for you. Especially if it's putting down the black woman. If it's not telling the truth about the black woman, they give you a few stories, but who is Mary? Who is Mary Magdalene? Who is these people? Are they African people? Let's keep it honestly. They're not talking about you. Let's be honest. This is part 2. I'm SHU, I'm in Ra. See you next week. Appreciate the black woman. Appreciate her. The reason why you appreciate her, because she's everything. Am I correct? Yes? No? She's everything. Remember that. See ya.